Hey guys, so I thought I'd do a little tutorial on how to sing the really high A5 in Golden from Kpop Demon Hunters. So this is quite out of my normal genre, but it's been blowing up everywhere, and it's a pretty cool song, and especially this chorus. I love the super high belting, so I thought it was really cool, and I thought I might turn it into a metal cover. Lots of my students have been doing this song and wanting to learn how to sing this song, so I thought I'd just make this quick video for everyone to see. One thing that's needed to actually get this down is you need to be able to use your mixed voice. So she seems to be using a thinner head dominant mix, but when I did it just now, I tried to pull as much chest up as I can to get that more metal rock style. And I applied a little bit of distortion on it as well. But if you're just going for the normal pop style, then you just want to use a pretty head-dominant mix. There's lots of layers here that help fill out the sound, and of course you always have to consider production when you're listening to these kinds of things. But in general, if you can get your mix and you can learn to slur up to that A5 and then just master some control on that, then that's pretty much how you need to do it. You have to have a very solid foundation of actually knowing how to coordinate with your mixed voice before you can even attempt this or get close to that note, but that is kind of what's required to actually get the note out. So getting into it, in order to hit that really, really high A5, and you're trying to do it in mixed voice or trying to pull chest up even, you're going to need massive amounts of support, abdominal support. So you want to be flexing all of your core muscles, not just your abs, but your erectors, your obliques, transverse abdominis, just all the muscles that are in your core. And you want full expansion. You want a massive, massive breath. And then you want to compress really intensely and then pull that up to the high A5. So if you're just trying to do it in a light, thin, head-dominant mix, you don't necessarily need all that support. So for example, that born, that... You can do it like that. I'm still using quite a bit of support, but it's not the same amount of 100% engagement that I was just talking about. Now, especially if you're a male or if you're trying to make it sound more intense and you're trying to pull chest up, then you do have to have that amount of support. It's hey, if you're trying to bring any of that tone, up into that register, and if you're trying to apply distortion at all, if that's your thing, then absolutely need to have loads of support. It cannot be stated enough, and I think that is the main thing with all my students that is holding people back, not having enough support. Use more support than you need. Now, support does not mean more tension in the throat, so you don't push with the throat, and you don't want to collapse your breath support. In fact, squeezing, which you actually might see me flexing, like in the video, squeezing is going to collapse the amount of breath support that you can engage. You want full expansion. You want your ribs to be able to expand. You want to sit up. If you're sitting. If you're standing, then that's naturally applied. But if you're sitting, you want to sit up, have full expansion of everything, create room for your diaphragm to sink down, contract, and then you want to have a counter reaction of all that where you squeeze really intensely so you have a lot of pressure on the lungs. It's pushing the air up. And then at the throat, you don't squeeze necessarily super hard in the neck, but you do have to have a certain amount of tension in your throat to simply restrict the airflow and coordinate to get that note. So don't push with the throat, don't collapse breath support, and instead of, if you do think that you have that foundation built, and you're just man, why can't I get it? Placement is a big issue there, so you want to be able to just kind of pull it up with a slur. Instead of just going for the note, if you have the inclination that you can get that, then you might want to start with a easier vowel instead of a born, which is quite difficult. Maybe go a hey or a nay or a nah. Any of those that feel easy to you, let's just do a hey. Let's actually do a nay, just to make it, easier on the chords. We're going to start there, and we're just going to slur up to it. Don't think about the notes that you're hitting yet. Just try to go nay, nay. Work out that transition from chest to mix, and then just try to start pulling it higher. And while you're trying to pull it higher, you want to be engaging your support system intensely, but not introducing a ton of tension where it's not needed. It's all about having tension in the right spaces, which is a common thing in all singing. So, you want to go nay, nay. Just see how well you can, slur around without having any interruptions there. So for me, if I try to push it too much, it's going to sound like this. See, I'm squeezing too hard, and that's cutting off my range. But if I try to stay free and then just stop when it gets uncomfortable, it sounds more like this. So at that note, when I'm in my mix, that starts to feel like it's pinching off. So I just stop there. So explore that range before you get into it. So instead of going for the actual line and saying the words, you might just want to start with and obviously the pitches weren't perfect there, but that's not really the point. The point is that you're just expanding your range, getting comfortable with that range, and then you're slowly going to work in the words from there. So instead of just going full out and applying all the chest tension that you need to finally get it, just take another step. So, oh, I'm not hiding now, I'm shining like I'm born to be. And there you go. So that's kind of getting the notes, starting to apply the feelings that you want, working in the words, but not quite going all out yet, as you might mess up that transition. Then just do that over and over, and as you get more comfortable, creep closer towards what the actual line sounds like. So after you've done all those things, you can go for the line and then realize that you might not get it, and that's totally fine. This takes a lot of time to build the coordination, to actually get that A5, especially if you're trying to apply any amount of power to it. So these principles that you use to actually get to the note, you just use those in practice. And with repeated effort, not pushing yourself too hard, you will reach that with time. So if you need help with building that range or power, or if you just need to work on the foundation, I offer vocal lessons. Those are linked in the description. So I actually recorded myself doing the whole process. I recorded it on my phone, in my DAW, with just EQ and compression, applying pitch correction, and then extra effects. The reason this is important to consider is that everything you hear is produced in this way, pretty much. Sometimes things don't have tuning, but most of the time everything you hear is tuned. This song is heavily tuned, which is totally fine, but that is why I applied some tuning to myself here. So I'll show all of those steps to you right now. I'm done hiding now, I'm shining like I'm born to be. I'm done hiding now, I'm shining like I'm born to be. After using a little bit of Melodyne, here's what we got. I'm done hiding now, I'm shining like I'm born to be. And now here's how it sounds with auto-tune, reverb, delay, and a little more compression. I'm done hiding now, I'm shining like I'm born to be. So that is what a few minutes of production can do to the sound. I know it was not perfect at first. It sounds okay on the phone, and then when you actually hear it over the instrumental with no pitch correction, it sounds a little pitchy, which is not optimal. I would redo that if this was for like a final take or a full cover or something, which if you guys want a full cover, I would do this in a metal style. So just let me know if you're interested in that. Also, if you guys are interested in vocal lessons, I'd love to work with you on these things. The link for that will be in the description. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos like this, and let me know if you guys are interested in seeing more things like this. See ya.